everyone, and welcome to our presentation, a crash course in medical ethics for nursing. In this video, we will provide you with a quick and comprehensive overview of the basic concepts of medical ethics. We'll also share some real-world examples to illustrate these concepts and provide you with valuable resources that you can use to navigate ethical dilemmas in your nursing career. Join us as we explore the world of medical ethics and learn how to apply these principles to ensure the highest standards of patient care. So let's start from the beginning. What are nursing ethics? Well, nursing ethics refer to a set of principles, values, and beliefs that guide the conduct of nurses in their professional practice. These principles are grounded in the fundamental goal of nursing, which is to promote the well-being and best interests of the patients. Nursing ethics involve a range of issues, including respect for patient autonomy, the duty to provide safe and effective care, confidentiality and privacy, informed consent, and the obligation to report any suspected cases of abuse or neglect. Nurses are expected to adhere to high ethical standards and to make decisions that are consistent with these standards. They must also be able to recognize and respond to ethical dilemmas and conflicts that might arise in their daily practice. By doing so, nurses can ensure that they provide the best possible care for their patients while upholding the integrity of the nursing profession. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's dive into the essential ethical principles that will guide you throughout your nursing career. Let's start with accountability. Accountability means that nurses are responsible for their actions and decisions, and must be able to justify them based on ethical and professional standards. This principle requires nurses to be aware of their professional obligations and to act in accordance with these obligations. Nurses must also be able to recognize and respond to ethical dilemmas that may arise in their practice and to seek guidance and support when it's needed. Veracity means that nurses should be truthful and honest in their communications with patients and colleagues. This principle requires nurses to provide accurate information to patients and to avoid misleading or deceptive practices. Nurses must also be aware of the potential consequences of their communication and work to ensure that their patients have the information that they need to make informed decisions about their care. Justice means that nurses should treat all patients fairly and without discrimination. This principle requires nurses to be aware of social determinants of health that can affect their patients, and to advocate for the needs of underserved and even marginalized populations. Nurses must also be aware of the potential impact that healthcare policies and practices can have on the distribution of resources, and work to ensure that resources are distributed in a way that reflects the needs of their patients. Non-maleficence means that nurses should avoid causing harm to their patients and to take steps to prevent harm when it is foreseeable. This principle requires nurses to be vigilant in identifying potential risks to their patients and to take action to mitigate those risks. Nurses must also be aware of the potential harm that can result from their own actions and to take steps to minimize the risks of harm to their patients. Autonomy refers to the patient's right to make decisions about their own health care based on their own values and beliefs. Nurses should respect and support the patient's right to make decisions about their care, even if they disagree with those decisions. This principle requires nurses to provide patients with the information that they need to make informed decisions, and to help them navigate the healthcare system in a way that reflects their values and preferences. Beneficence means that nurses should act in the best interest of their patients and strive to promote their well-being. This principle requires nurses to provide safe and effective care and to use their knowledge and skills to improve the health outcomes of their patients. Nurses must also prioritize the needs of their patients above their own interests and make decisions that are based on evidence-based practice and the best available research. Fidelity means that nurses should be faithful to their commitments, uphold their professional standards, and maintain the trust of their patients. This principle requires nurses to act with integrity, honesty, and accountability in all of their interactions with patients and colleagues. Nurses must also be aware of the impact that their actions can have on the reputation of the nursing profession and work to promote the highest standards of ethical conduct in their practice. Have you got all that? Great. Here are a few more detailed scenario-based examples of how these ethical principles can come into play in your nursing career. Are you ready? Let's begin. A new nurse accidentally administers a medication to a patient without checking their allergy history. The patient then experiences an allergic reaction and has to be treated in the ICU. The nurse is now held to account for their mistake and takes responsibility for the error. They work with their team to ensure that they are following proper medication administration protocols to prevent similar errors from happening again. What is this an example of? If you said accountability, you'd be correct. David is a nurse caring for a patient named Susan who is experiencing severe pain after surgery. David administers pain medication and monitors Susan's response to ensure that the medication is effective and safe. David also provides Susan with information about pain management techniques and encourages Susan to participate in her own care. David works with the healthcare team to develop a plan for managing Susan's pain and ensuring that she is comfortable and well supported throughout her recovery. What do you think this is an example of? This is an example of beneficence. A nurse works in a hospital that serves a diverse patient population. The nurse recognizes that some patients are facing barriers to accessing healthcare due to their socioeconomic status, language barriers, or other factors. The nurse works with hospital leadership to develop programs and services that address these barriers, such as offering interpreter services, providing financial assistance to patients who can't afford care, and partnering with community organizations to provide outreach and education. This would be an example of what? The answer is justice. Now let's talk about something serious. If a nurse is faced with a situation where they believe that ethical principles have been violated, there are several resources available for them to make an ethical complaint. This may not always be easy, but it's the right thing to do. Nurses can report ethical violations to the administration of the healthcare facility where they work. The administration should have a process in place to help investigate and address ethical complaints. Many nursing professional associations have an ethical code of conduct that members are expected to follow. These associations may also have a process for addressing ethical complaints made by their members. Nurses can also report ethical violations to their State Board of Nursing. For example, the Washington State Board of Nursing is responsible for regulating nursing practice within the state and has the authority to investigate complaints of ethical violations. The National Council of State Boards of Nursing, or NCSBN, is a national organization that provides guidance and resources to state boards of nursing. Nurses can contact them for assistance in addressing their complaints. Some hospitals or healthcare facilities may have ethics consultation services available to nurses. These services provide guidance and support to nurses facing ethical dilemmas. In summary, nurses have several resources available to them to make ethical complaints. It is essential that nurses advocate for their patients and uphold ethical principles in their practice. Reporting ethical violations is an important step in maintaining the integrity of the nursing profession and ensuring that patients receive safe and effective care. As you can see, nursing ethics are an essential tool that we can use to provide safe, competent, and compassionate care to our patients. By adhering to these ethical principles and values, we can establish trust and build strong relationships with our patients. We can promote their well-being, and we can contribute to their overall quality of healthcare. By using these ethical principles to guide our practice, nurses can help to prevent medical errors, reduce healthcare disparities, and promote positive patient outcomes. We can also work collaboratively with other healthcare professionals to ensure that ethical considerations are addressed in all aspects of healthcare. The goal of this presentation was to provide you with a foundational understanding of nursing ethics and to highlight the importance of ethical principles and values in nursing practice. We hope we did that, and we hope that you will continue to hold on to these ethical practices throughout your professional career and use them as a guide to provide safe, competent, and compassionate care for your patients. We wish you the best of luck in your studies and in your future careers as nurses. Remember, ethical principles are an essential part of nursing practice, and by using them to guide your decisions and actions, you can make a positive impact on the lives of your patients and the overall quality of the healthcare industry as a whole.